We're gonna jump into number 3 top story. Oh yes, a break.
Nice.
Break. Number
have
3 top story of the
notes.
week. This is I interviewed 10 Venezuelans to find out what they know about Bitcoin from Malos 10, April 29th, 26 comments, 6,591 sats. This is a Bitcoin territory post from let me lower that. So EK, you want to explain what this is?
Yes. So I did watch it, at least the beginning. And what I got from it is that I was positively surprised by their answers. But it's also not surprising because people from different countries have different opinions on Bitcoin. Like they have their different realities or how their money works, how volatile their currency is. So it kind of makes sense that I have seen nobody really against, not against Bitcoin at all. Like they were actually pretty open-minded in accepting it. But currently, most of them just use USDT and Binance, and it sounds like for them, Bitcoin is when you use Binance.
Yeah. So I saw it too, and it was hilarious. Like Binance went out there, set them up with like USDT, didn't explain Bitcoin, didn't explain any of this stuff, and just like they're just using USDT.
Yeah,
It's so sad, dude.
so I guess
It's like no one wants you. It's like no one wants South America, Latin America to have Bitcoin. It's like the poorest you can have fake USD. The elite can only have Bitcoin. That's the way it is, and so you got to get used to it.
but I'm not sure is anybody really stopping them from using
No,
Bitcoin.
I mean because they're psyoped to believing that they're always going to have fake USD, and you're not good enough to have Bitcoin. And that's a psyop. They have to. They're doing it to themselves. It's just. I talk to Francisco about this all the time. Like you have to mentally flip that switch, and Americans are going to own all the Bitcoin in the world. It's just where it's headed. It's an elite thing. I don't think people are
Yes.
realizing what's happening. You can call me crazy, but I think that's where we're headed, and it's
Yeah, I mean-
unfortunately the case.
I mean, the elites, whoever that is, definitely gonna
It's
try.
us. It's us.
I am part of the elite.
Well, you're here in America, aren't you?
Oh,
You think
cool.
you're leaving this
I know.
country?
I know. In Germany, you have to like burn wood in your house to stay warm or whatever.
Where do you
Oh,
think,
yeah,
like
yeah,
Austin was
I
saying
have
earlier about
electricity
all
at
these
home.
mempool and all these discussions next week? Where do you think it's happening? It's happening in Austin. Like, where do you think all this talk is happening? Like, it's like this is
But-
not a coincidence. Like, they're doing this stuff for a reason.
But we are the elite who actually want them to use Bitcoin, right?
No, I'm saying I'm saying when all is said and done, they want centralization in America. They want Bitcoin to stay in America. They want it as a reserve currency. They want America wants Bitcoin to stay here. Like they want
Oh,
control
yeah.
of Bitcoin.
Bitcoin made
yeah.
in America. Oh,
Yeah, they
sorry.
want it here. So
Okay, I'm
they
kissing
want to
my
control it. So the poorest can't have it. And
Yeah,
that's
that
that's
goes
that's the
also-
future that they want. I'm just saying that's the truth. And no one wants to talk about that. Everybody wants to pretend that it doesn't exist. Oh, that's not happening, Car. You're crazy. I'm like, dude, like
I mean,
you
many
can
many
see-
things
you
are
can see
happening
right
at the
through
same
it.
time.
Like it's the most obvious thing in the world. But anyways, I said that in the comments. He's like, oh, that's not happening there. I'm like, cool, dude, keep lying to yourself.
Oh, I also have a personal story. So I have a sister, and I didn't get her into Bitcoin. She just came to me one day and asked me about it. And yeah, then we talked about it, like how to self-custody, and I gifted her a treasure. But I also didn't really care. Like I wanted her to make her own, give her time to make her own experience using it.
Yeah.
And at years later, she was shocked when she realized that to withdraw from Binance, it actually they have high fees. So now she's kind of stuck in Binance. She has to sell, if things selling Bitcoin on Binance and then withdrawing via fiat is cheaper than to withdraw it over the Bitcoin network. And I think I remember telling her about it, but at the time, like, wasn't that important about withdrawing your Bitcoin. But yes, so that's like, yeah, Binance has a pretty tight grip on people, I think.
Yeah.
They even have like their own shitcoin.
Yeah. Austin, you got any thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean it's pretty nuanced. As much as I agree with you, it's kind of like it's very shady how people they come over to the most vulnerable and they give them like the first solution of like USDT, and then it stops there. And in a way, it seems because it's Binance doing it, it seems predatory. It feels predatory. But in another sense, like one of the guys in the interview was saying, you know, I take Tether payments. It helps me. At first, I converted it to Bolivars immediately, and now I save it. And after a few weeks of saving it, I'm able to pay my bills. And so, is it? It's I think there's a way you can look at it and say that like these people are using it as a better money, and they are giving themselves kind of more freedom and more sovereignty, and usurping kind of their local jurisdictions and the limits through cryptocurrency, right? Through state, as much as we might have critiques about that, and you know, I guess my positive hope is that that's step one for them is that step one, they can see, okay, there are digital currencies. They can outperform my local currency, and I can use it to protect myself and my family. And hopefully they take that to the next step beyond Tether and they move on to Bitcoin. And I guess our fear is that, you know, is that Tether and stuff like this will become replacement for most of the world for Bitcoin instead of just being a stepping stone.
Yeah, I don't. I appreciate that response, but we've seen it multiple times in previous times where, like in 2018, Cardano tried doing this to Africa, and they gave people Cardano, and they did the exact same thing. We just saw it here recently with WorldCoin, where WorldCoin did that. They had everybody scan their eyeballs, and they gave them WorldCoin coin, and then they now they're doxxed with their ID. Like we see this time and time again with shitcoins. This is what they do. Now they're kind of doing the same thing with Tether, and this is just going to lead to the proliferation of the dollar in every jurisdiction, every nook and cranny of the global space. And I think personally that this is just kind of the similar playbook that they did with gold. This is how they suppressed gold's price for the past 50 years, and they're doing the same playbook. They're doing the exact same game. ETFs, same thing, the exact same thing, suppressing it, custodialship, the whole playbook. It's straight out of the 1960s, 1970s playbook, and I think people just aren't paying attention. The only difference, the only saving grace we have is just that Bitcoin's on the internet and there's cypherpunks, and there's a strong pleb movement, but that's it.
I just think it's a bit of an overgeneralization. Like I agree with the sentiment on so many things, but I just think it actually is more nuanced than that. When you talk to the people, when you look at the use cases, when you look deeper into Tether, it's very nuanced.
Yeah, I think the people
Yeah.
want it.
Juan wants to say something. Hang on, let me switch. We don't have a camera for you, Juan, but here you go. Oh, Juan's from Bitcoin Magazine. Just so people know who's
Appeal to authority.
Yes.
see, we get all sides here at Stacker.News Live.
Well, I mean, I just want to point out that Venezuela was very early on mining Bitcoin. They mined a lot of Bitcoin illegally until it became officially illegal. Then they mined it legally. Then their president launched the shitcoin. So I don't think you can argue that Venezuelans are not aware of Bitcoin. Dash did a lot of marketing there, so they're aware of shitcoins. And again, like they mined Bitcoin very early on. So I do there it may be that there is power interests that are trying to use Tether as a way to extend dollar hegemony. In fact, this is no conspiracy theory. Paulo literally tweeted it out the other day. So he was like, Tether is great for extending dollar hegemony. Like he literally tweeted out. So that's no secret at all. But like, I think that the point of self-reflection is the reason people have not adopted Bitcoin in these countries is in part because of the volatility. Because poor people that are trying to escape the Venezuelan inflation are just trying to find something that's secure,
Hmm.
that where they can hang on for a little bit and just fucking stack some more money, right? And the volatility in Bitcoin is tricky, and I think the fee spikes that we saw in 2017 pissed off at a lot of Latin Americans. I mean, I talked to a lot of them at the time, and they were like, "Dude, I can't be paying $30 fees. This is ridiculous."
Hmm.
And so there's been experiences that they've had with Bitcoin that have turned them off. And I think nobody's really doing like customer research on in these markets, trying to understand what happened. And I
Hmm.
think that's kind of where we need to do a little bit of little self reflection on what what that looks like for people, because it's very easy to get caught up in narratives, and I
Hmm.
think there's actually a gap of knowledge, I think.
Thanks for that. And I want to like add 2 points to that. I think part of that is like time preference. Like these people are operating at a higher time preference, and Bitcoin really isn't that great in like short time spans. Tether's better in that high time preference environment.
Get out of here.
So we
Get
we
the-
want them to move to lower time
How
preference.
dare you?
Okay, one last thing. I think there's two sides of financial privilege here. One side is we are overprivileged in telling people you should don't use Tether, you should be using Bitcoin, right? And then there's literally the opposite of that, of like of don't use Tether because it's adding to dollar hegemony or whatever. It's like these people, they're not at the level of like caring about our ethos about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. So us saying no, we're trying to help you, don't use Tether, skip over it and go right to Bitcoin. That's kind of like a point of financial privilege that they're almost not at yet. And if it's like they're saying we want and we need dollars, get out of here with your narratives about Bitcoin. We don't have time to consider that. I think that could be kind of like the other side of the argument, and that I've heard people steelman before, but what do I know?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say like when you're just trying to survive, you don't care about the global level of whatever. And yeah, it's like a privilege to even be able to save money.
Yeah, it's like I'm just trying to like struggle and keep food in the pantry, and then some health bro in Austin comes around and is like, "What? You're not sunning your balls? You have to sun your balls, bro,
Yeah.
or else you can't be healthy."
I
Like,
mean,
come on, I'm just trying to stay
at
fed.
the end of the day, we're all gonna have our different opinions for different reasons because of our different backgrounds, and that's what makes Bitcoin